Welcome to the Real Housewives of Valaris podcast, where we summarize the dramas,
deep dive the lore,
and theorize all our favorite books. Join our inner circle. I'm Blakely.
And I'm Kylie. We're here to help you unpack everything you've read and make you feel like you're right here with us, spilling the tea. Welcome back to the Real Housewives of Valaris podcast. We are heading to a different universe, the Sarah Janet Maas universe, specifically her most recent series, Crescent City, starting with the first book, Crescent City, House of Earth and Blood.
For those new to our podcast, our format is we start off doing What's the Haps, where we summarize last week's episode chapters, usually in a ridiculous way. And then we do a chapter overview, and we will start building theories and breaking things down in each individual chapter, including Maasverse tie-ins.
We are doing all the remembering and connecting the dots for you. Crescent City is a book packed full of nuggets, and it's a really big book. So if you don't want to do the reread before the next ACOTAR book, you can use this as your refresher course.
Warning. While we may be your silly gal pals, we don't recommend listening to this podcast around little ears or ears that may be offended because we say bad words and shitty things. We will have spoilers for Throne of Glass and A Court of Thorns and Roses as we tie things in. We will only have spoilers for the current Crescent City that we are chit-chatting about.
I love that you say chit-chatting because I wrote it and I always think that you'll change it because I write like an old lady.
Sometimes it is.
Sometimes I write like an old lady. Sometimes I write like I'm an old lady in heat. So, But on that note, reminder that thoughts, feelings, and theories, and just things we say can evolve, change, be debunked, or just be completely off the rails. Regardless, it's all for fun and not that deep, especially since we will be tailoring all our theories to the current book. So, Blake, what did you rate this book when you first read it versus reading it now?
So I looked on Goodreads and I gave it a 4.
You had to look.
I did. I was like, I don't remember. And now it's a 5. I'm almost as confused as to why I gave it a 4 to begin with, but I think it's just proof that sometimes books just hit differently depending on your mood and where you're at. So now, love it. I also think it's better on a reread, personally.
100%. And it matters what you read before you read this book, because if you are ending Throne of Glass, Kingdom of Ash, this epic ending, and then you go into this, the juxtaposition is crazy and it is really hard to get into.
I also read the Empyrean right after this too. So it was sandwiched in between Throne of Glass and the Empyrean. And the Empyrean is like one of my favorites of all time. So it's really difficult.
What a choice.
To compare. Yeah.
I gave it 4 stars my first read. I was like, this is a murder mystery. I'm into it, but I hate the characters. I truly hated the characters, thought they sucked. I bitched about it the entire time. You watched me.
You did.
You didn't watch me. I ranted to you, literally ranted. I also read it coming off of Throne of Glass, but now I said to you, this is a 5-star book injected in my veins. I love this on a reread. I think since I've spent a decent amount of time with Gloria, it really did help.
Therapy helps you rating.
This book is much better post-therapy. So maybe everybody should do a round of therapy and then come back to it. Or just reread it twice, read it twice so that way you know what the hell you're reading.
Mm-hmm.
Therapy or a reread, your choice.
That's what we're recommending, guys.
No in between. So we're just going to get right into it. Normally we would read the synopsis and all that, but if you're here, you've read this book. We don't need to read the synopsis. But we're going to start with the dedication. It says, for Taryn, the brightest star in my sky. This woman, Sarah Janet, is literally opening it up with some foreshadowing.
Which I love.
It.
Now we're going to do a world building sums. We don't have What's the Haps being our first episode, and we're going to give you the meat and bones of the world of CC1 to help you better understand or give you a little refresher. If you want to skip it, check the description for the timestamps, and you can just go right into chapter 1. So we have the 4 houses of the planet of Midgard. Earth and blood, shifters, humans, witches, ordinary animals. Then we have
Our
sky and
house.
yes. Malachim, which are angels, fae, or elementals. House of many waters, river spirits, mare, water beasts, nymphs, kelpies, and nox. House of flame and shadow, daemonaki, reapers, wraiths, vampires, drakes, dragons, necromancies, and other wicked shit. Why did I say that? Why am I like that? So, the hierarchy. Rulers.
It's the Boston in you.
I
And
know.
all the wicked shit.
All the wicked shit. Fucking idiot. Rulers in this world in order from top dog to bottom bitches. Thanks for that, Kai. The the 7 head bitches in charge of the planet of Midgard, known as the Holy Stars. They rule from the Eternal City in Pangera. Then we have the governors, Micah Domitus, the Archangel of Valbara and governor of CC, formerly known as
Is it Pangera?
Yeah.
That's another one I got wrong this entire time.
Did you do Pangera?
For sure.
Pangera.
You just like shocked me a little bit. I was like, oh, fuck, I've been reading it wrong.
Pangera. Not Pangera.
No.
They rule from the Eternal City in Pangera. Then we have the governors. Micah, Archangel of Valbera and governor of CC, formerly known as Lunathian, head of the Central Business District, ruled over everyone in the entire territory and continent of Valbera and only answered to the 6th Asteri in the Eternal City. Then we have the 33rd Imperial Legion. They serve as the personal guard for the governor of Lunathion. Sandriel, Archangel and governor of Northwestern Quadrant in Pangera and the 45th Legion.
I appreciate that you wrote no last name on there. I truly do.
Did I write that? I thought you did that.
Oh, fuck.
You
Was
did.
that me? Did I just
Or-
appreciate my...
You appreciated your work. I didn't do no last name. You did. From there, we have the 6 lower heads that think they have a semblance of control. The Primal Wolves and Moonwood. Danica's mom, Sabine. Her father is the Prime of the Valbaran Wolves. Sabine is the elf of the Scythe Moon Pack and chief of the shifter units in the city's Ox. Rumors are Danica should be tapped to be Prime, apparent bypassing her bitch of a mom. Grandpapa gave Danica the family heirloom sword after centuries promising it to Sabine. Allegedly, on her 18th birthday, the sword called to Danica. Then we have the Fae Autumn King and 5 Roses, who's a ginger whose magic is fire, but a hottie, you know? His baby boy Rune runs the Fae Ox. We have the Under King in the Bone Quarter. We learn more about this guy in future books. The Viper Queen in the Meat Market. The Oracle in Old Square. Not the biggest fan of Bryce. And the River Queen, representing the House of Many Waters and her blue court far beneath the Eastros River's turquoise surface. Now the humans have no head. There is no seat at the table for these little losers.
We also want to point out a few vocab words. At least I do, for sure, because these are the words that really tripped me up when I read this book the first time. Because this book's really confusing. So I put in here veneer, which is fancy supernatural beings. Valbara is the continent on Midgard, where Crescent City is. Those 2 V's, plus you have like the Viper Queen and vampires. There's just so many V's. Then you have Lunathion and Crescent City. They're the same place. It's the old name versus new name. They're interchangeable. Pangera is the other continent on the planet of Midgard. It's the other continent discussed where the Eternal City is located, and it's where the Asteri live. There's the Triari. They're the top dogs in Micah's personal army, his personal 5-man team. Each governor has a Triari. Triari?
Priori.
Okay.
It could go either way. I feel like it doesn't matter.
Whatever. I say it wrong anyways.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
Triari. So Triari are also a part of an Imperial Legion. For example, Micahs are a part of the 33 Legion. They are also veneer. This is an example of how this book is so complicated. It's easy to lose so much of this book when you're trying to learn all the fucking vocabulary. So then you also have angels. There's regular angels and archangels. Angels are the only species to make up the Triari and the Governor's Legions. Governors are only archangels. Angels are also called Malachi. It's a lot of words for one being. And so we will write this down. We will have a document so you can quick reference because, yeah, it's easy to get lost. So, you guys, relax those shoulders, unclench those jaws, clamp that clam, and let's begin our journey.
Part 1, The Hollow. Chapter Uno. We meet our FMC Bryce, a redheaded half-fae, half-human sassy little thing, her shapeshifter wolf bestie, Danica, and a little fire sprite named Lahava. Danica knocks on the door at Griffin Antiquities and is like, "Where the hell you been, Loca? Let me in." Bryce lets her in like a good spider monkey, and Lahava doesn't seem to be the biggest fan of Danica and doesn't want her in there and claims their boss, Jespa, won't either. So, Bryce and Danica are a good time. Hardcore party girls. Basically, Kai and I, the summer of '09. Bryce has a bone to pick with Danica, though, because her sick back tattoo hurts. Apparently, they got matching bestie tattoos while drunk the other night. Danica's like, "Cool, but I really need to shower because she got somebody else's juices on her and not the fun kind." So she throws her not at all important things in the supply closet.
The amount of foreshadowing is fucking crazy. Not only do we have the dedication, but like the first page, there is foreshadowing immediately. Bryce complaining about the tattoo hurting like hell. The fact that Bryce was so fucked up to get that tattoo and not remember it, even though Danica was full veneer, hers was already healed. The first read, you're so overloaded with learning the information and trying to understand it while trying to keep up. So just God, so much happens in this book. But when you reread it, it's so fun to catch all this foreshadowing.
Well, at first you're like, God, they're saying fuck all the time. And like, it's very, I mean, they're young and party girls. So it is hard to get a little bit, like wrap your head so you miss all the foreshadowing. But now it's like,
It's almost jarring coming to
Mhm.
modern times. That was another thing that tripped me up with this book was like, they have cell phones. Like, what are Faye doing with fucking cell phones? But, reread totally on board with it. They needed it in this book.
Agreed. Danica tells Bryce that she has a meeting with the city heads because Philip Briggs is being released because some dumb biddy screwed up the paperwork. Who is Philip Briggs, you ask? Let me give you the 411. Philly B, as his friends call him, was the leader of a human rebellion that until recently was contained over in the northern region of Pangera. Pangera is across the Halden Sea. And now Philly B is trying to bring over it. Philly B is now trying to bring it over here in Valbara, which is Totes Magoat's roots. He's in jail because he was planning to blow up the White Raven, which is a hoppin' nightclub where all the cool kids go. He wanted to cause some bad blood between the magical veneer and the Asteri against the normies, aka muggles. They are. Danica was like, "Fret not. I will tell the stupid, beautiful Archangel Micah that he is an idiot and needs to keep Philip in the clink."
So at this point in the book, there's a war happening over in Pangera where the humans are rebelling. So what Briggs was hoping for is a global conflict that would cost the lives of millions on either side, lives that were expendable if it meant a possibility for humans to overthrow those who oppose them, the magically gifted and the long-lived veneer, and above them the Asteri who ruled the planet Midgard from the Eternal City in Pangera. So once again, there's foreshadowing there, like talking about the war. And just a reminder to everybody listening that's choosing to not reread, there's a war happening. Okay, we meet Syrinx. Syrinx.
I
I'm
know.
gonna guys, it is what it is. But I pictured him as a French bulldog with like a lion's tail and a mane. I know you don't like visualize things in the same way I do, but like that's what I pictured immediately. And I know it's wrong.
I don't think I pictured anything. I just pictured like a lion dog. I don't know what that is. That's what I pictured.
Well,
So
that
like
is
what
what
that is what you
that's
pictured.
what a chimera is.
Yeah. But I just didn't. I just saw a fluffy tail. I don't even see his face in my head.
I picture him like tortoiseshell colored. So like my cat Daisy, so she's got half orange, half red or black. Wow, can't even get my cat's colors right. And so that's how I picture him. I really thought about this animal a lot.
That doesn't surprise me. And it's not surprising that I didn't think about this animal very often. Word to your mother segment. So the steri comes from the ancient Greek word meaning star or starlight. Interesting, right? Yes, we will be building on this big time, bro. Then we have veneer, which is from Norse mythology, group of gods associated with fertility, wisdom, and ability to see the future. Pangera most likely is coming from Pangaea, which was the ancient supercontinent that exists from the late Paleozoic to early Mesozoic era, where all Earth's major land masses were joined together. The name comes from Greek, meaning all Earth. It broke apart approximately 200 million years ago. Then we have Valbara, which is a hypothetical Archean supercontinent that consisted of present-day Africa and northwestern Australia. It potentially existed 3.6 and 2.5 million years ago during the Archean eon.
Reminder, we are an educational podcast.
Yeah. You're going to be so fucking smart after listening to us, okay?
We'll give you a degree from Belarus.
Or Crescent City. Oh,
Crescent
no,
City College.
Crescent City, CCU.
Yeah, exactly. No, we'll do the community college.
Yeah, that's true. Only junior college is allowed. We're not going to university.
Not yet.
No. We're going to have a Jessica spotlight. So while we cover Crescent City, Jessica Rogra is absolutely someone we will be tracking. I personally believe that Jessica will be a key part in tying the whole Maasverse together. So Jessica was a 400-year-old enchantress who was born a witch and defected, is what we learn in this book. Jessica joins the House of Flame and Shadow and now answers only to the Underking himself. She owns Griffin Antiquities, at where Bryce works with a very, very valuable library. She turns people into animals if they irritate her, which is respectable. So Jessica is a variant of Jessica, which means to see or to behold, and also could be known as God's gift. Now, in Slavic languages, roga translates to horn. Now, if you're like, wow, Blakely, do you think that's a coincidence that the whole book they're searching for Luna's horn? No, I don't. Now, if we take Jessica and what we know of her and we look at Greek mythology, she's most like Circe. Circe was an enchantress, daughter of the sun god Helios and granddaughter of Thea. She would transform her enemies or those who offended her into animals. Now, we're going to put a pin in theories when it comes to Jessica, but we will continue building. I just wanted to give you a little information.
A lot of nuggets that you just gave us that tie into this whole book, but I just want to throw in something for A Court of Thorns and Roses, because we will talk about Helios a lot. Helion was the High Lord of the Day Court. His name has Greek origins, derived from the Greek word helios, meaning sun. Helion's powers included air manipulation, light generation, ashing, burning, possible sunfire, spell cleaving, touch telepathy, shape-shifting, replication, ailment diagnosis with light, and winnowing. His beast form is described as a creature of gold feathers, shredding claws, and feathered wings, and is said to be opposite of Rezan's, crafted of light and sunbeam. Why are these tying together? Well, Jessica casts golden wards to seal the Parthos library on the shelves in her office, not unlike Helion when he's asked by Rezan to visit Valaris to weave a protection spell around the mask in A Court of Silver Flames. And his power is described as a golden white healing light. Lucian is Helion's biological son, which I wrote S-U-N, and I couldn't figure out what I was doing wrong, but I wasn't technically wrong. But let's not forget, Lucian is a French boy's name that means light. Will the next ACOTAR tie Lucian into the world? Because also, and Jessica's lineage, because Elaine, her name is woven between different cultural threads. Elaine is considered to be of French origin, also like Lucian, derived from the Old French Helene, which itself comes from the Greek name Helene. The Greek name Helene is often associated with torch or light. So I think that Jessica plays a part with Lucian and Elaine in the next ACOTAR. So that is why we are tying these all together. We are building these nuggets, and we're not building these nuggets. We're planting these seeds, and we're going to grow these little flowers with you guys. Elaine's garden.
I like it. Yeah, Helion, I think, is pretty key. There is a lot there, obviously, with the court and everything. So I'm really excited.
I couldn't wait to share all this just because, we mentioned Jessica. We're building so much on Jessica. And the whole reason we're diving into Crescent City is because the next ACOTAR, you have to know these books in order to read the next book. So we are tying it all in together for you guys. And I'm just so excited.
Me too.
Chapter 2Z's. This is a long one, guys. Hope you're ready. I don't know why I'm like, yeah. So everyone's checking in on Danica through Bryce since Briggs is getting released, and apparently that's not cool. Danica would have loved a new moon, by the way, in her wolf form. Danica's heading off to do Wolfpack shit, and Bryce off to do work shit. She needs to look for Luna's horn. So there's a moment in this book that Danica glanced to one of the visible cameras in the showroom mounted behind a decapitated statue of a dancing fawn dating back 10,000 years, which let's note that for the white raven.
Mm-hmm.
Her bushy tail swished once. Why does she even want it? Okay, that's foreshadowing for one. Like, why does it
Mm-hmm.
matter, Danica? But I picture Danica as Jim from The Office, like looking straight at the camera. Like that is
Yeah.
100% how I
He's
picture her.
she's the straight guy in the story who's like looking like this fucking guy.
Danica was in wolf form at this, like during this conversation. Words are so hard, guys. Conversation. And her tail like moved, like it swished and twitched when she was asking about the horn. So Danica has a tell when she is avoiding saying something, and it was her fucking tail. I didn't notice it in the first book because why would I?
Mm-hmm. Well, you
Or
didn't know.
first read. Yeah. But it's so funny to like capture just something so small like that. This read. I love it. This book's fun.
It is.
Apparently, the horn got stolen during blackout. Looters had used the cover of darkness to break into Luna's temple and swipe the ancient Fey relic from its resting place atop the lap of the massive enthroned deity. Looters, sure. We learn pretty quickly Danica's mom, Sabine, is a big bitch. And I feel like that is the theme with that name in books because in Bury Our Bones, Sabine was a bitch there too. But from the moment Danica and Bryce met, they were besties, but Sabine thinks Bryce is a half-breed slut. On their walk, Danica mentions that she will be seeing Bryce's half-brother, who Bryce currently holds some anger against. Then Bryce mentions the horn and maybe the power outage was tied to it. Danica's tail twitched when Bryce was onto something. Little hidden nugs that tell, oh, I already said this. I like got so excited up there. Bryce goes on about how it'll help her career. Here, Danica's eyes flash to Bryce's necklace. The amulet is hella expensive, but Bryce needs it since these silly gooses have not made the drop yet.
Okay.
It's your moment.
Here we go. The Archesian amulet has a considerable protections against the influence of magical objects. A tiny gold pendant, a knot of 3 entwined circles along a delicate chain around her neck. Maasverse time. In Akatar, the bone carver draws it when discussing his siblings, this exact symbol. You have met my sister, my twin, the weaver, as you now call her. I knew her as Striga. So he's writing it in the sand. Then I just want to mention in Akawar, when Amryn and Nesta are trying to find the cauldron, she says 3 stones for the faces of the mother. Now, in Tog, there is a similar necklace, Elena's amulet, which is described as a protector from dark magic, and it glows blue in warning of danger or magic. Manon sees it and calls it the 3-faced goddess. In the space that they overlap, she calls it the eye of the goddess, then circle the outermost one as the crone, the top as the mother, and the bottom as the maiden. She then stabs the eye inside and the heart of darkness within her. Now, what does this symbol mean? Unclear, but one thing I think of is if you think about it, there are 3 circles representing 3 worlds that overlap and could be seen as rips in the world that would cause gates to open. Or some say it represents the 3 Archeron sisters, and their mother was the 3-faced goddess, and that essentially is why once they have magic, they become so powerful. I mean, Elaine's power remains to be seen, but one can hope. We will learn more about the Archesian amulet as the story progresses, but there is a little food for thought for you.
I'm so excited to get more into the amulet and talking about them because I have so many feelings about the Archeron sisters' mom.
Mm-hmm. And we're on the same page on that, so I'm excited.
So Bryce's mom, I don't know why I started with that. Bryce's mom calls. Danica steals her phone because her mom is cooler than her own. I can totally relate. She lies saying that they are just out for a fun walk. She gets Bryce out of a visit from her parents, which is secretly because shit is a little dangerous and she doesn't want her parents visiting. She doesn't want her parents visiting Lunathion. Lunathion? Did I
Lunathion.
say it
Yeah.
right? God.
Yeah.
Well, second episode, we'll have all the words down.
Luckily, we don't have to say it that much because they just call it Crescent City. So it's not that.
Thank God.
Mm-hmm.
Thank God. So Bryce may only be half Fae, but immediately, like, she's a badass. She keeps up with the gun range, even though she's not a big fan of guns. Like, she's a goddamn good shot because her dad's a legendary sharpshooter. Like, she's been doing this shit since childhood. But once again, foreshadowing. Danica always being one step ahead kind of gives me Aelin vibes. Like, I knew I liked her too much to begin with, knowing what happens. Like, you did mention she's a bitch to Lahaba, but I did like her.
No,
She
she's
would've been cool.
likable.
I would have
Yeah,
hung out with her. I would have gone to the White Raven with her. It would have been a blast.
totally. Agreed.
Danica and Bryce reach Old Square. Hella people are around waiting to get a picture with the gates. What are the gates, you ask? One of 7, they are all carved from enormous blocks of quartz hewn from the Laconian Mountains to the north. The Old Square Gate was often called the Heart Gate thanks to its location in the dead center of Crescent City, with the other 6 gates located equal distance from it, each one opening onto a road out of the walled city. On the gate, there's a dial pad with a gem that you touch and give a drop of your magic forever.
And just to explain kind of what the gates look like in all different regions, we have the emerald and a rose for 5 roses, opal and a pair of wings for CBD, ruby and a heart for Old Square, sapphire and an oak tree for Moonwood, amethyst and a man's hand for the asphodel meadows. The human meadows. God, I'm going to screw that up. I'll get there. Tiger's eye and a serpent for the meat market, onyx so black it gobbled the light, and a set of skull and crossbones for the bone quarters. That's what the gates all look like. We have a little shadow of the 4 which I have to just give Sarah Janet credit for how she writes, just tying this in so we know this. My history teacher said the gates were originally communication devices. So just the way that she weaves in the world building is chef's kiss. But on the gates, it says, the power shall always belong to those who give their lives to the city. Is that not giving like sort of Gryffindor for you? Like
You've got to be brave.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So yes, total Gryffindor vibes.
Mm-hmm.
I think Bryce would definitely be in Gryffindor.
Uh-huh. I agree.
I feel like Hunt would be in Slytherin though.
I think Danica
Not that we need to get there yet, but yes. Ooh, yes.
Well, Danica could go a couple ways because she is so into history and that's like her love and everything. I could see her as Ravenclaw, to be honest.
Yep.
She's a Ravenclaw girly.
The hat would ask her, do you want to be in Ravenclaw or Slytherin? Because she's a clever girl.
Mm-hmm. Girl.
Not the reference I was going for,
Not
but it
Jurassic
ended up
Park,
there.
is that what you're going for?
No, there's no velociraptors in Harry Potter. Missed opportunity, though.
Totally. Or in Crescent City. Like, can you imagine raptors run around?
You know, not every beast has come out of hell, so there could be velociraptors down there.
Who knows?
Now I'm picturing. Okay, my imagination is running away with demons.
I apologize.
What a sentence that I never thought I would say. Danica uses her privilege to cut the line to make a wish. Good for her. Use your pretty privilege, girlfriend. Basically, all the gates were good for now. We're a tourist trap. But you make a little wish when you go to them. Bryce doesn't have much magic to give up. She barely has enough for cool party tricks. Danica was expected to have a lot more than the Autumn King. There was a test that measures how much they are expected to have. Danica and Bryce plan to do their drop together at age 27, mostly for vain reasons. I get it. Like
27 kind of
they're at their prime. Why wouldn't?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. It's a peak age.
I mean, you know, I probably would wait till 36 now because I'm hitting prime. 27, I was pregnant. So are you.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't think I would choose 27.
I would never do the drop pregnant. Oh my God, no.
Can you do the drop pregnant?
Pregnant. Well, I threw up my entire pregnancies the whole time. So can you imagine the throwing up that I would be doing while dropping and trying to get to the scent? It'd be terrible. And
Wait,
then
hold
what does
that
that
thought,
mean?
because okay, so at this point in the story, we don't know what the drop is yet. All
Yeah.
that is explained is if the aging process was so slowed after the drop, depending on one species, it could take centuries to show a wrinkle. The Fae could last 1,000 years, the shifters and witches usually 5 centuries, the angels somewhere between. Full humans did not make the drop as they bore no magic, and compared to humans with their ordinary lifespans and slow healing, the veneer were essentially immortal. Some species bore children who didn't even enter maturity until they were in their 80s, and most were very, very hard to kill. So, my question is, do you think you could do the drop pregnant? Like, not could you physically do it, but do you think like your body could do that?
I don't think so.
Or would it slow the baby's growing and then you're pregnant forever?
Yeah, no, I don't know. I don't, my guess is no.
Weigh in, guys.
Let us know.
If we give you any call to action today, it is to let us know if you can make the drop pregnant,
Hmm.
if that's a
And,
thing in that
and
world.
then if you were going to make the drop, what age would you pick? You know what?
Yeah, that's probably like a really better
I'm
a
going to do a
poll.
poll on, yep, we're going to do a poll. See what people say.
I'm choosing 36. Fuck, but my back will hurt.
My back's been hurting
I gotta
so,
think about this. Probably 19. Realistically, 19. I was prime then too.
I'm way better looking now than I was 19.
I know, but I was so skinny at 19. Fury had called them out on this for the vanity reason. Fury, Fury, who had made the drop at age 21, hadn't chosen the age for herself. It just happened or had been forced upon her. They don't really know for sure. Fury's attendance at CCU, not to be confused with CCCC, where Blakely and I are teachers, had only been a front for a mission. Most of her time was spent doing truly fucked up things for disgusting amounts of money over in Pangera. She made it a point to never give them details. They have no idea who she worked for. She's just someone you don't fuck with. Bryce and Danica made their silly little wishes and then parted their respective ways. We will definitely be getting more into Fury, but like every
Like,
time she's mentioned, we get really excited.
but we gotta wait. Throwaway line that's not a throwaway line. Glancing past a poster of the Six and Throne Asteri tacked up on the wall with an empty throne to honor their fallen sister. Finding out who the fallen sister is will definitely be something we'll be trying to piece together.
It's Jessica.
That's what you're going with?
Yep.
Hmm.
Why not? Imagine if it was just it's Jessica this entire time.
I my brain's not going to that, but I'd be fine with it because I love her.
Yeah, only because I love her. Like, be in charge, girlfriend. You be mean to people.
I know. Like, turn people into animals. Totally respect it. So let's go to CCCC, Community College. Adelaide, which is Bryce's middle name, means noble or of noble kind. Just a little foreshadowing. Chapter 3. Thanks, Kat.
I I didn't even think how I aligned changing that word because the tone of this chapter is so jovial that it's like really foreboding. Because
I
shit's gonna happen soon. It's too happy.
I just laughed at your wording. I'm like, wow, look at you, smarty pants. Jovial, that it's truly foreboding. I'm into it.
This is the first word that I thought of. I didn't pull out like my thesaurus. Like that's how I felt this chapter. Like everybody's happy. Like
I think it's accurate. So it just made
it's
me
too happy. This is how I was feeling like for years. Depression's a beast.
So Bryce arrives at her humble abode and sees the pack of devils has already made themselves at home at her apartment. She asks about the sunball game. They won, and Connor's brother Ethan scored the winning goal. She didn't at all flirt a tiny bit with Connor and then went into the kitchen to see what state Danica was in after her big meeting. Briggs was released. Danica was obviously upset about that, but with her best friend telekinesis, Bryce could tell something else was bugging her. We learned during the last weeks We learned during last week's power outage, 2 CCU kids were murdered in Danica's section. Apparently, these kids were in ribbons and were somebody's partial dinner. Why did I write it like that?
That was definitely not me. That was all
No,
you.
it was me.
What's wrong with you?
I don't know.
We're at chapter 3, guys, and there's already so much foreshadowing. It's really crazy. Danica's pack made each of those things in art form, mostly because they claim Bryce as one of their own, even if she didn't bear the tattoo down the side of her neck. The Prime knew that Bryce is one of the pack. Like that foreshadowing. I love this.
Chef's kiss.
This one hurts my heart.
Bryce was reminded she had a date with her rich-ass boyfriend. Connor, not a big fan. After trying the bare minimum, takes a few shots, and puts on a slutty dress, she tries to head out. But Connor has other plans and tries to ask her out. She kind of turns him down and then walks to the Fancy Pants restaurant.
Okay, poor Bryce. Sex 2 times in 2 months is brutal, especially okay sex. Like, you're in a new relationship, girlfriend. It should be like great.
You should be banging all the time. Like, what are you doing?
It's insane. But Danica and Bryce's openness made me laugh because they're very unfiltered. And it is so relatable to how we talk. Like, poor you for everything that I share with you. I call you my diary all the time, and it's awful for you.
It's really not. I'm used to it. It's been like 20 years of this.
Stop it.
I know, sorry.
Don't put time frames on it, you monster.
We've known each other since we were 5.
Basically. You know, we would just love to add extra years on. So Danica literally says, "Light it up, bitch," and Bryce replies, "Light it up, asshole." What do we call each other?
Bitch and asshole. We have always said that Kylie's humor and self is a bitch, and I am an asshole. So this is all very relatable. Which I guess that means I'm dying soon, but you know, it's fine.
Well, I had messaged you and I had said those exact words. I was like, their relationship reminds me of us, except for, and I like pictured you as Danica without the dying. Like I literally said that. So I don't think you're going to die soon. You have not watched the tape. I think you're okay.
Perfect. A few things to note in this chat. So Redner Industries, which is where Reed works, which is her rich-ass boyfriend, is a human-owned magi tech company. Michael, nope, that's not his name. What's his name?
Micah.
Micah was a major investor in its cutting-edge experiments. Actually, it seems that Mike kind of has his hands in everything, which, not to get political, kind of reminds me of the California governor. Really pretty and has his hands in everything.
As somebody who lives in California, I say he just reminds me so much of a car salesman, just the way he looks. It's that slick back hair. Like,
yeah. Or
that's spot on.
American Psycho. He looks like that to me too. And I'm not talking about
oh my gosh, Christian Bale.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just like
hair.
aesthetically, yeah.
Aesthetically pretty, and that's what I picture.
Yeah, because we don't give a shit about politics. We only care about people's faces. Like, we don't care what's inside.
What's the face card like? What do they read?
Yeah.
That's what I care about.
Outside only. You're beautiful. That song, outside only, not inside.
Well, funny helps too. We care about funny.
Yeah. That funny and pretty. Anything else?
Doesn't matter.
Not our problem.
So, a bit about Bryce's family history. Her mother, Ember, fell for the Autumn King, but he got super fucking possessive and aggressive, and then she pieced out before he could notice she was impregnated. Note the name Ember and meaning and symbolism, a small piece of burning or glowing coal or wood in a dying fire. Symbolism of the name Ember is lingering heat and light in something dying or faded, symbolizing the remnants of former intensity, potential for revival, and resilience. I have a little theory, so I'm excited. I'm not bringing it up yet. Are your wheels turning?
You watched like the light turn on. You watched the elevator arrive at the floor.
So Bryce quit dancing because her body type wasn't the traditional kind, which is bullshit and sad. So very millennial coded. But do you find it interesting that both Nesta and Bryce are little dancing queens?
Yes. I mean, I find it interesting, but I feel like the three-headed goddess is gonna tie in with these two somehow.
Hmm. And then, this whole Connor, like the history and everything, I just want them to play Taylor Swift, The One. Like, could have been The One, but like, you're not going to see him at a bus stop or anything because he's dead.
Oh my god.
So,
Not yet. It hasn't
and,
happened yet. We don't have to be sad for we had a whole chapter to enjoy him.
but it's just so sad because you can just tell, like, they could have been something and something great, but they're not.
But, that she's gonna get something better. Maybe
True.
not better, different, different.
Pour one out for the homies, guys.
I was about to say pour one out for Connor, but yeah, okay, we're same
Really?
page. Chapter 4. Bryce is at her fancy ass dinner date with no date to be found. The prick had the audacity to show up 45 minutes late. Even though people were making gross remarks about her, she still got some fancy ass wine. But during this waiting, Bryce got a really sweet message from Connor. I'm shit talking, but what I wanted to say before you tried to get into a fight with me instead, by the way, was that I think it's worth it. You and me giving us a shot. He added, I'm crazy about you. I don't want anyone else. I haven't for a long while. One date. If it doesn't work, then we'll deal with it. But just give me a chance, please. Okay, one, Connor's so sweet. And two,
Mhm.
that just really drummed up the like trauma anticipation for me. Like, it's
Mhm.
gonna get bad. Like, first time reading this, you're like, fuck, what is gonna happen? That message was too sweet.
I didn't think they were all gonna die.
I definitely did not.
Mm-mm, mm-mm.
Sarah Janet went really fucking hard. She was
It's
like,
about
the trauma's
fucking
gonna be
pain.
really strong. As if you haven't suffered enough with the 13, like, let me give you this was this book's 13 situation. A whole
Mhm.
pack that you knew was good people. Which you guys I have a theory on the 13 at some point, which ties into Crescent City.
It does.
So this conversation matters. Okay, so Reed was a human and he was hot at least. Bryce made sure that her body was hot and ready spaghetti for other reasons since she hadn't made the drop. And you just never know if someone like Briggs will take you out or something like another veneer. Bryce thought about this planet before it was occupied by creatures and other worlds. Like, this is how her date's going. She's thinking about other fucking planets.
Think about fucking history. Like, Veneer crawled through the northern like, that's what she's thinking about is history. Date's not going great. And the history is the Veneer crawled through the northern rift, overtaken Midgard a long ass time ago. The Veneer that came through were much more advanced and civilized than the ones here first because they were humans and just ordinary animals. To note, their calendar system reflected the crossing, kind of like the Bible. HE, human era, VE, Veneer era. Just a little factoid.
We're going to put together a timeline for you guys. So that way, I don't know about you guys, but I love data and a good visual, and we're going to make it for you. We will do this. We do the work so you don't have to. Reed's excuse for being late was a long call thanks to some Pangerian conflict jazz. He is condescending and tells Bryce that the conflict is complicated. This war has gone on for 40 years since humans would rather 86 themselves from life than let the Asteri rule them. It's a real mess over there. Humans don't like being slaves, and there's more there than in Crescent City. Not to say that they don't exist. Fury's been there, but not much info there.
Fury is just a secret of Sally.
The things that I'm noticing about Fury like are super interesting, and I'm hell bent on her being descended from the Night Court, and I will not be taking questions at this time.
I
No
will,
notes.
I will be respecting that, and we can discuss it later. veneer have reigned for 15,000 years. In the last few centuries, humans have been granted more rights by the Imperial Senate with Asteri's approval. If they step out of line, they're put right back to being slaves. Slaves are mainly in Pangera, a few in CC, like Kylie said, warrior angels in the 33rd, pretty much all slaves, and Micah's personal legion. They all have a tattoo on a wrist because they're little what's it called? Hipsters, SPQM, slave tattoo on their wrist. We have a bunch of tattoos, that's why I said it.
We will not be getting those as matching tattoos.
No.
Bryce was born of two houses since she was half fae, half human, but she was forced to yield her allegiance to the House of Earth and Blood as part of accepting the Savita's rank her father had gotten her, which that is just that she's a magical being. Humans have a different one. It had been the price to pay for accepting the coveted citizen status. He'd petitioned for full citizenship, but she would have to claim sky and breath as her house. She'd resented the bastard for making her choose, but even her mother had seen the benefits outweighed the cost. But humans don't really have protections. Bryce really was not interested in this dinner, especially when this fucking dork was on his phone and Connor was whispering sweet nothings in her messages. So she dumped Reed, grabbed the bottle of wine, talked shit to another Fae, then messaged Fury to go out. Cue Destiny's Child jumpin', like, ladies leave your man at home. Ladies leave your man at home. The club is full of ballers and their pockets full grown. She called Juniper too. The girls were going to the White Raven. I imagine it was like Friday night at the cabaret at the Tulela Casino in 2011. Outside, Bryce bought some fun drugs. Someone tried to sell her some hard shit, but she was a little too poor for that much fun. Bryce is starting to flirt with Connor via text and then finally agreed to a date. She updated Danica naturally and told her to enjoy pack night and do the wolf shit that she does since she was a very loyal alpha.
I want you to know
definitely the cab.
100% the cab, which the cab is sad now and not like when we were there. But when I picture Reed, I picture in Wedding Crashers, Bradley Cooper's character. Like rich, good-looking douchebag. Do you see what I'm saying at all?
100% I see that. Yeah.
That's
100%.
Yeah. And just even his attitude is very, like the condescending, very similar. Just want to throw.
Bradley Cooper is a wonderful prick. He's like really good at it.
Yeah. He's really great.
Good casting. I'm into that. Even though he's a little bit older, but yeah, it's totally fine.
Like back then he was young though, and Wedding Crashers is in his 20s. So,
100%. It's just like, in Stranger Things, those older kids are playing children. So Bradley Cooper can play a 20-something-year-old guy.
He's back. Yeah, totally. So let's go into the White Raven a little bit. The Raven was a temple, a building encased the ruins, but the dance floor remained the original ancient stones of some long forgotten god's temple, aka nameless god. Age-worn carvings of satyrs and fauns drinking and dancing and fucking amid grapevines. It used to be a pleasure temple. Just fucking White Raven, man. It's on my brain.
I wonder how she acquired that tattoo, that statue.
Mm-hmm.
If it was from when this temple was new or old.
Well, it depends on how old. I think it's old. So Danica spent countless hours looking into history of dominant shifter packs. Lions rule in Helene, tigers oversaw Corinth, and falcons reign in OEA.
OIA.
Mm-hmm.
But seriously, there's so much foreshadowing.
It's
insane. We're in chapter 4, and I've said the word foreshadowing for every chapter like 30 times already. It's ridiculous. Like, you can't get any of this the first time you read it.
Do not play a drinking game with the word foreshadow, please. You guys just wouldn't even make it through the episode.
Absolutely. You would not be able to drive. So if you do, please have a designated driver or an Uber.
Drink responsibly.
Fury called out Bryce on her low effort of vanity and that Reed should have known he was getting dumped. Fury had more drugs too, good for her. Bryce asked if it was the expensive shit she couldn't afford, and Fury told her no and to stay away from that shit. Bryce just reminded her she works tomorrow so that she can take nothing that makes her hallucinate. I love that that's the bar. Like, no hallucinogens. Let's party. Let's not take the synth though.
True party girls. And synth will make you feel like a god. That's how it's being sold. Now, Fury is described as long onyx hair tied in high in a ponytail, a sharp face, deep set chestnut eyes, light brown face. So she's a tan girl. She goes to Desert Sun. Not sure what type of veneer. What she is a full citizen.
From her super fast speed, grace, and reflexes, had never revealed another form nor any inkling of magic beyond the most basic. Sarah Janet gives us so little about Fury, but enough to keep us so curious about this one woman. Thing, whatever she is.
Mysterious, for sure. Chapter 5. So Kai actually wrote the summary for me. She said, Bryce dumps Reed. Bryce goes to a club and does a lot of drugs. Bryce gets home. Everyone's dead. So it's pretty fucking spot on, but I'm going to add a couple more details for everyone. Bryce decides
Just
she's
one or
going
two.
just a couple, okay? Bryce decided she was going to live it up at the White Raven before her impending date with Connor in 3 days. Fury brought a shit ton of drugs, and they partook. Bryce was a little dancing queen. She stumbled down her street and apparently browned out because she had no idea how she got there. After remembering the code to get in, she climbed the stairwell, which, by the way, smells disgusting. Once she gets to her apartment door, she's able to focus just enough to see her door is actually already open, and there is blood everywhere. She walked in and saw the entire pack of devils in pieces, piles of her friends' remains all throughout the apartment. She heard a thunk from outside in the hallway, and whatever had killed them must have hidden inside the trash chute. She took off running. She spotted what she thinks is a demon. It was smooth, near translucent gray skin, climbing on 4 creepy ass limbs and feasting on an angel. She smacked the demon with the table leg on its head. The demon was only deeded for a second, then lunged after the angel again. Bryce tried attacking again, and the demon ripped her thigh open, and then it took off. She tried stopping the blood from the angel and asked for its phone. She called and asked for help, and she had them track his phone, and they said they would be on their way. I feel so sad that obviously all of them are dead, but her being so excited for Connor and their history to finally go on the date, and she knows she'll end up like the future that she thought was going to happen, and it just is gone. Well, not to mention her best friend, but you know.
Yeah, Connor. Like, fuck her best friend, but Connor. Like,
well, we just
poor
talk about
gal.
Danica. We talk about Danica so much in this book and the next couple that I'm just like, she's almost like she's alive.
Connor needs his moment.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So I am curious about why the demon ran from her here. Like, she has the drugs in her system. Like, does that obviously you mentioned that she has the amulet, but like he does attack her. So does the amulet like fully make it like not want to touch her, and like it got the ick when it ran its claw through her thigh,
Well, if you
or its
think about
fangs
it, like it was
when it attacked her?
it's because Bryce was attacking it, like going for it. So I felt like it was like a protecting itself, and then it ran away. He could have like just kept going. So that's why I think it's because of the amulet. That's why it hid and everything.
It just completely repels.
Yeah.
Because it had attacked her. So I was wondering, like, why didn't it keep going? Like, that self-defense. Like, obviously, it doesn't know what she is because
Right.
of the amulet, but, like, why not take her out, too?
I think I think it has to be because of the amulet, because that's otherwise that wouldn't make sense. But I get it, why you would ask. You know?
When the Crystallos is being described, the creature had no eyes, only smooth planes of bone above its deep slits, its nose. I 100% think of the alien from Signs, like when it walks by the camera in the alley for the first time, like people see it and all those little kids are freaking out. And it's like the slits are Voldemort's nose. Like that's the combination. but I did Google it, and Google agrees with me, but it kind of has like an alien predator mouth slash
Mm.
Demigorgon ish for
Oh,
those that
okay.
watch. We're watching Stranger Things, so there's a lot of references to it right now.
I need to watch
We
it.
are on season 3, for those wondering.
Everyone was.
I did think I did think Bryce was insufferable the first read, but post therapy me is realizing how much trauma this girl really went through, losing her best friend, daddy issues. Like, she deserved to be pissed off at the world and not want to let people in. Like, it's very relatable. I get her now.
Well, especially with like the racism, basically for her being half human and being treated like shit too all the time. So
Yeah.
yeah, I get why she is the way she is. Like she's not as much of a bitch as Nesta is, right? In my opinion, she's more
Yeah.
likable,
Right.
and I'm talking about hardcore trauma time, but similar trajectory.
Yeah. I think Bryce is definitely more likable than Nesta. Like, I'm a
Mhm.
big Nesta fan, but like the way that I thought Bryce was insufferable was not comparable to Nesta. Like, Bryce always has a redemption. Like, Nesta's just she's forever going to be a bitch.
Yeah, and we're specifically talking
Bryce is
Nesta, her worst time, like not her how she ends up, but
yes.
yeah. Juniper. Juniper
Go
Andromeda.
off, queen.
Mm. Juniper has powerful spiritual properties associated with purification, protection, longevity, and vitality and spiritual growth. That's the name meaning of juniper. So then I looked up Andromeda and found out that it's a galaxy. So there's a concept called the Andromeda star seeds, souls originating from the galaxy who have lived in other planets or star systems who have come to Earth to fulfill a specific mission, usually to assist humanity's evolution and to help raise consciousness. Bryce describes Juniper as sweet and mild, but she still essentially has that star quality. So while we go through the series, I want to look at Juniper through the lens of an Andromeda starseed and just see what we find. And the fucking white raven. Dancing at the sacred ancient heart of the raven. I just really want to investigate what this temple of the long forgotten god is.
Chapter 6. Bryce went from losing her shit to terrifyingly calm. Isaiah, Micah's top dog, but still a slave nonetheless, is in charge of the case and gets assistance from Hunt Athalar, aka the Umbra Mortis. He is already asking if she's going to be moved to a not so great interrogation room. Immediately, this guy sounds like a dick. Let's talk Hunt for a moment because we just got introduced to him.
So Hunt Athalar's nickname, the Umbra Mortis, which in Latin means shadow of death.
We will get into his actual name
Mhm.
meaning later. It's not the time. Even Isaiah's instinct said predator, killer, monster. Hunt seemed to exist within a permanent ripple of stillness. It was the bated silence before a thunderclap, like the entire land held its breath when he was near. What was your first impression of him, first read versus now?
See, my thing was I always liked Hunt. He was fine for me, but it wasn't, especially book one, he's fine. Like, I don't have like a strong opinion either way, which I know that's not how you felt. So tell us how you felt, Kai.
Well, I mean, I absolutely loathed him. I've 100% pivoted. He's not joining my reverse harem anytime soon, but like, he can get a visitor's pass for the weekend once a month. That's fine. I just there was no romance in him, and especially in this first book, there's not that much like spice anyway. I don't know. I didn't vibe with him. Where do you place him with like Sarah Janet Men?
This will be controversial, but I'm not a huge Throne of Glass men person. Like, I like them all, but I'm not like, they're not in my top. So I would feel like the men in CC are similar to Throne of Glass. Like, they're equivalent to me.
Like, they're all hotties, but they're not. Rezan tier, Slade Ravager tier. They're not there. They're
Yeah, they're
not
no
Zayden.
Zayden. No. Mm-mm. So for me, they're just like Hunt reminds me a lot of Cass. He's a dude, but I would say
Bro.
Cassian has more emotional intelligence. I'll give him that. Where Hunt is like where most of her characters are definitely like men written by a woman. Hunt's just a dude.
He nails the whole bro thing,
Hmm.
and I mean, I will bitch about it later, but like the way he speaks during intimacy, I don't vibe with it. Do you think Hunt is deserving of a daddy title?
A lot of people love Hunt. Like there, a lot of people do. So I think that if he gets one, Cassian gets one. They're the same to me. They're the same level.
Well, but you wouldn't give him that title, obviously. Just
No, I would not kick him out of bed, but he's fine. He's good. I like him more this time than last time, but he's just good.
we'll see what my tune is for the next book.
Hmm.
But I don't hate him. I think he is good for Bryce
Hmm.
now. Obviously, he makes some mistakes, but in the words of Miley Cyrus, everybody makes mistakes.
Thank you.
Everybody has those days.
Hmm.
Isaiah starts telling Hunt and us about Bryce. Bryce Quinlan, 23 years old, half fae, half human. Side note. So she's 23. Like at this time, we don't have a 19-year-old. Like she is in her mid 20s. She's a mid 20s female main character. I love that for us. More relatable.
Yeah, because isn't that how old Aaron is too? 23.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then obviously this book fast forwards a couple years.
Right.
So
So
we
we get
still get
25.
her.
Yeah.
Yeah, truly mid 20s, like not a super young gal. Love
Mhm.
that.
Not a super young gal.
Blood tests from 10 years ago confirm that she'll have an immortal lifespan. Her power rating was near negligible, like hasn't made the drop yet, listed as a full fetus found in the alley with one of their own, trying to keep his heart from falling out with her bare hands. It flashes back to the demon scene, and Bryce was wild from adrenaline. Hunt stapled her cut shut, battlefield style, and judged her as a spoiled party girl along with Danica. Back to the present, and Hunt learns Danica is 86 from life. Hunt thinks about himself and everyone's position. Hunt isn't in the triari per se, I'm going to say it wrong, guys, per se, but not in it. He is an assassin demon hunter. It's giving Demi Lovato when she did the ghost hunting. Side note, like literally, because Google, it didn't tell me that Seaman Hunter was wrong.
So
And that's what I had originally typed.
you almost wrote Seaman Hunter.
Yeah, that's what Hunt
I mean,
was.
that's what we are. We're semen hunters. Okay.
That is awful. You're wrong for that.
That's so right.
So Hunt tracks down demons that slip through cracks in the Northern Rift or through illegal summoning. In chapter 18, there is a mention of a Southern Rift. I know we wouldn't check it, but I did check the other two books, and it's mentioned one time in each of the books as well. It can be a portal to help, but I wonder if it could be more of like a witchy gate in the future, like the Southern one, because you and I are hell bent on witches, which is why Jessica matters. So I wonder if like that's going to tie into the Southern Rift.
It's very possible and
Anything's
plausible.
possible right now.
Hmm.
As mentioned before, Isaiah is also a slave. It's mentioned that they both have halos across their brows. Pangerian witches had branded them with spell infused ink that binded the majority of their powers. A halo is a mockery of the divine auras early humans had once portrayed angels as possessing. Angels were created by the Asteri to be their perfect soldiers and loyal servants. They were branded with these halos because they were part of the rebellion led by the Archangel Shahar and Hunt, who was the general of her 18th Legion. The rebellion had failed. They also had a second tattoo on their right wrist, SPQM. Even if you lose that limb, when it regrows, it'll bear the witch ink still.
So timeline
Not
wise, the rebellion happened 200 years ago with the angels, and then another one started by the humans just a mere 40 years ago.
I feel like the Asteria need to like really do some internal searching and be like, is it me? Am I the problem? Like, why are these rebellions happening?
They don't think they're the drama. And if they are, they don't care.
I think they love the drama though.
They
I
love
really
the
do. They're like, if they, this is just their big soap opera.
drama.
Like, Midgard is their soap opera that they're testing out for several thousand
They're
years.
like, and these are the days of our lives.
But really,
Mhm.
my choice is Passions for soap operas.
Yes, I watched Days of Their Lives, so I grew up on it a little bit. So, like,
Days of Our Lives is on right before Passions. It was on
yeah,
at 1.
Noma, my step monster, would watch Passions after, and I just remember the little boy, and then like the old
Yes,
lady.
he was
Yeah,
he was a doll, but he was alive because his owner was a witch. Her name was Tabitha.
right.
Once again, we've come full circle on witches.
See, yeah, no, I do like I picture that a little bit, but good old. I never watched General Hospital though.
Immediately, Hunt and Isaiah start assuming that it was Briggs that caused all this. He was just freed that day, and Danica was very stressy about it. Sabine rages in and is, per usual, pissed off at Bryce's existence. Vic shows up at the moment to talk to Bryce, also bearing a halo. She's not sugarcoating shit. She lists all the drugs in Bryce's system and aggressively asks questions, including playing the audio when Danica died, which is a bitch move. Isaiah is smart enough to recognize that Bryce is in shock and will not be talking. Hunt asks about Bryce's other friends present, mentioning Juniper and Fury.
There you go.
Words are hard.
They are. So Vic is a wraith, and it just makes you wonder the connection between the water race and Akhtar compared to the race here. Just and Vic's out there in the ocean with emotion. So I just am curious.
That's a good call out. She is in a trench, the deepest one, but I wonder if there were other like mermaids or wraiths that were like our friend and like freed her, but then
Right.
she would like take one of their bodies. So
There's that.
yeah. Interesting because, I'll bitch about this later, but where the fuck is Victoria?
I know.
There's hope for her still. When Vic was interrogating Bryce, one of the text messages to Danica was, I hooked up with someone in the bathroom. Don't tell Connor. And I hope this is not a hot take, but I don't think Bryce was wrong for this. Like,
They weren't
her and
together.
Connor had made it official. Like, they didn't know that it was going to work out between them. Like, she was on drugs. She wanted to get it in. Like, you do you, baby boo. Like,
No,
I don't think she's wrong.
I was totally fine with this. Like, I also look at it. Michael Scott says to Jim once, like, BFD, engaged ain't married. It was like they were engaged for a date. They hadn't actually gone on it. So it doesn't matter.
So those people that talk like hellish shit about her, like, it's unacceptable. We don't slut shame.
No. Be selective.
That's why I don't like Sabine. She slut shames so hard.
But
That's
she's a
usually the
slut.
GG.
But she is a slut.
She's just a secret slut.
Yeah. Fucking bitch.
She's the worst.
The worst kind are the secret sluts that are judgy towards other sluts. Like, just let's all be sluts.
It's that whole like throwing stones, glass houses situation.
Mhm.
That's Sabine.
We are an educational podcast, and we are all for slut positivity here. So,
Hell yes.
mm-hmm.
Props to you guys.
Be slutty. Do it.
So once again, Sarah Janet is drawing up interest in Fury. They'd cross paths with the merc enough to know to stay the hell away. Micah had even ordered Hunt to kill her twice. Hunt ended up being smart and realizing it's not worth it. The assassin level angel with crazy lightning power, afraid of the fallout from killing Fury. I just think it's super interesting.
And why would Micah want her killed?
What does
Why?
Fury know about
Mhm.
Micah? Why did I say I? She was on to him. For sure. Bryce loses it, understandably, after that audio and just wants to go home. Hunt was being kind to Bryce after that when Isaiah got a call to let her go. They were pretty darn confused when Rune Dannon, Crown Prince of the Valbarian Fae, walked in, demanding to know where Bryce was. They asked, "What's it to him?" But he shared that she's his cousin. Him and Hunt swing their huge supernatural dicks around for a bit before Rune walked out. Let's talk Rune. Literally the most famous quote from Crescent City. It's the best. Son of the Autumn King and the current possessor of the Star Sword, fabled dark blade of the ancient Starborn Fae, proof of the Prince's Chosen One status among the Fae. Danon's blue eyes simmered like the heart of a flame with no fire magic. Fire magic was common among the Valbarian Fae, wielded by the Autumn King himself. Rune's magic was more like those of his kin who ruled the sacred Fae Isle of the Avelian across the sea, power to summon shadows or mist that could not only veil the physical world, but the mind as well, perhaps even telepathy. So the same questions for Hunt. What was your first impression of him then versus now?
So Rune is not my type in general.
Right.
He's
He'd be on
just
your fuck it list.
he's on my fuck it list, but he's not my type. I
Right.
like Rune. He's a good character, but at this point, not a lot's happening for me. You?
He's not joining the harem. Like, also, he can have like a twice a month visit. Like,
Yeah.
that's cool just because of his magic. I
Right.
think of all the men with like the daddy title. I think he would probably get it above all else for me. I would take Rune Danon over Hunt.
Yeah,
Tharion's my boy though. Tharion's the one that I love.
we both have a soft spot for him.
So if anybody joins the harem, it's him. But Rune is a tattooed hottie. He's got golden skin, not song, which is what I wrote. Straight black hair that's waist long with a shaved side. So really, you can just grab on.
I'm not a big long hair gal, so I think that's
No.
part of it. I think that's part of it for me. Like Tamlin example, I was never fucking into that. And he's blonde. So there's a lot of things there, but the long hair does not do it for me. Once Rowan cut his hair in Tog, he was definitely more fuckable for me.
I mean, but you could braid Rune's hair. You guys
I
could
don't
have
like
like cute little sleepovers.
I don't like that. It's the same for like Jacob was hotter after he cut his hair. And this is just a personal preference.
Yeah.
All the girlies that like the long hair, love that for you. You can have Fabios. I don't want them.
I think like if you maybe would trim it, shoulder length, I would be more in for it.
Well, that's like
There
Hunt.
is,
Yeah. Hunt.
yeah.
Yeah, because I
I'm
picture
gonna
like
still
the
go with
hot
Rune.
athletes with the dark hair and they'll put like when they're shoulder length. I'm fine with that. Anything longer? No. That's all.
Hunt almost is like hockey player vibe with
Mhm.
wings.
Yeah. So I fuck him for sure.
And yeah. So that's making more sense. Not like that you're super into bros, but if he's like a hockey guy, well, I mean, obviously,
Well, I
it's
am very
it's
into athlete.
baseball.
I'm very into athletes, and
Yeah.
he's more athlete vibes. So
I wonder how big Ethan's ass is. I'll ask that later.
well, yeah,
He's a baseball player.
Sunball does it. Yeah, Sunball's got to be like
Yeah.
similar to baseball, even though they have goals. But like baseball player asses cannot be beat. So
I bet you he's got the juiciest ass. I feel like Rune probably has a flat one.
yeah, I don't feel like there's a lot to grab onto. But
Like he's muscular, but I just don't think like the ass is shaped. Like this is what we've evolved
this is
into. Like
welcome to Crescent
this is
City
Crescent City Community
Community College.
College.
If you want a university degree, go elsewhere. Okay.
This is the course of asses.
A little bit about the Star Sword lore. The sword allegedly made from iridium mined from the meteorite forge in another world before the Fae had come through the Northern Rift. So the Fae Isle of Avalon, which she'd already said, across the sea power to summon shadows or mists that could not only veil the physical world but mind as well. Telepathy. Telepathy.
Telepathy is it?
Telepathy. Telepathy. Now, this place will be a very large discussion in the rest of our CC and ACOTAR coverage. Just very excited about it.
It's so hard not to like mention every tie-in to ACOTAR immediately. Like we have to pace ourselves.
I just want to say Hunt is such a shit stirrer, which is probably why I like him more too. Like when he goes distant family, It's and he said, "I heard the Fae like to keep their bloodline undiluted, like you, fucker." But I love him for that. See, it's more my type.
I do. I do love a good shit talker. I bet that was like during their dick swinging,
Mhm.
supernatural dick swinging moment. Yeah, I guess he doesn't talk enough shit though. Well, Bryce talks a ton of shit. She puts him in his place and humbles him,
Which he needs.
I feel.
Mhm.
Yes. After Rune walked out, they started talking about the tracker that they put in Bryce's water. Like, that is some government level conspiracy shit. Like, it makes me what kind of research Sarah Janet did, like, to get into this.
I'm already in my conspiracy theorist, like, era right now, so this is like, oh, I bet you that does exist.
Filter your water.
That's
Fridge
why
water only. Don't drink from the tap.
don't you dare. The government knows what you're doing. Chapter 7. So we're gonna flash forward 6 days after the murder. And yes,
When
Kylie,
you wrote that,
I did think about it as SpongeBob format. 100%. 6 days
thank you.
later, Bryce made a little trip to the bone quarter. She had some things she needed to say. Ethan was being a dick and telling her she wasn't welcome at the pack sailing, and Danica's would be at dawn, and then theirs would follow. Even though they said that she couldn't go, she wouldn't have been able to endure it anyway to see if Danica could be judged worthy or unworthy. There was only silence there, silence and mist. Bryce looked up at the gate and the mist swirled tighter, the temperature dropping, announcing the arrival of something ancient and terrible. Bryce continued to kneel and bowed her head. She came there to say goodbye and to give Danica one last thing. The creature emerged and the river trembled. So let's talk about the aesthetics of the Bone Quarter. Foggy shores. She got there by a shifty boat that took her through the Eastros. Obsidian steps. Dark. Silence. Mist. The carved bone gates made from the ribs of a long dead Leviathan who rolled the deep seas of the north.
It's giving the prison from Akatar. Like, that's where my mind immediately went. Barris' first visit, I stared up at the sharp, grassy slope of the small mountain, shivering at the veils of mist that wafted past. I feel like Sarah wanted to plant the seed to remind you of the prison early, and it's just a seed of foreshadowing. It's going to grow to
I
this beautiful
agree.
shadow flower.
Shadow. What is a Leviathan, you might ask? In the Bible, it's described as a marine serpent. In Christianity, it's described as a demon of pride, sometimes identified with Satan or the beast of Revelation. Now, as for the bone quarter and this ancient and terrible being, we will dive a lot deeper into him in book 2 with potential for Maasverse theories. So we know, but we're not there yet. Okay, this line that Sarah Janet wrote. A light had gone out inside her. A light had been extinguished. When their catchphrase, best friend, being lighted up, I'm like, so good. So good.
I feel like with Sarah's books, like I do this so much because everything is just it's art. It's done so strategically and she hits you in the goddamn feels.
And I just also want to note Ethan sucks.
Just to tie this into the Maasverse, he is forever the littlest of bitches. Like he outshines Kale from Throne of Glass.
He outshines Adian.
Yeah, because you hate Edian more than I hate. Like Kale's my ick, Edian's yours, and yeah, Ethan really does just take the cake for the littlest of bitches. Even though he does have a redemption arc, he's still a little fucking bitch.
Yeah. What I think
No, no.
about our Adian Kale thing is I find Kale more fuckable. So I'm willing to allow his annoyingness to go. But what is Adian has light hair and it's longer. So I'm like, nah, fuck this guy.
I feel like Adian's hotter than Kale. So, in the vanity aspect of shitty personalities, I probably would go with
The blonde.
Adian. I just feel like he's more, yeah, like he's more muscular, would throw me around a little more.
Well, but I feel like Kale has more rugged vibes.
Well, Adian is the leader of, you know, his army essentially, for those who haven't read it, but like, so he's rugged too. He's
I
not in
more
there
meant
clean
rugged
shaven every
looks.
day. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, no, I'm saying he's like not in there like super clean shaven. He's
no.
on the road.
But I do feel like Adian, just because is more of a pretty boy than Kale.
Yeah, he's a handsome, rugged man. I
Mhm,
feel like, he's got that strategically placed dirt.
mhm. Yeah, but
But I
that
am picking Adian over Kale.
you're taking Ethan over Kale?
Adian
Adian.
over
Oh, okay.
Kale.
Like, fuck Ethan.
No, God, not Ethan. Ugh.
Gross.
Part 2, the trench. The first part is part 1, the trauma. And part 2 is the therapy. You get into the trenches of why
Mhm.
you are the way you are. So we're
100%.
just renaming these. Part 2, the therapy. Okay, so we have Bryce's trauma lore. So the story picks up almost 2 years later. Bryce is yet again getting laid at the White Raven. Apparently, her business attire is too business coded because her bang buddy said he could not pay her. Bryce said it was on the house and carried on. Loved this for her. She did think about how Fury wouldn't talk to her anymore, and she barely saw Juniper, but that's not why she was here.
So the guy thinking that she was a hooker was hilarious to me because I myself have also been mistaken to be a hooker in Las Vegas. So my husband, we went with a group of friends and he decided to grow out his hair and make himself look as like greasy as fucking possible that trip. Like he thought it was funny to wear button-down shirts where the buttons were just too slutty down too far. He wore these ridiculous white loafer shoes. John commits to a bit, and he did that whole weekend. So we were walking by the Flamingo, and some guy like whistled at me. I was wearing like a very low cut pink dress, and we heard him say to his friend,
I know the dress.
heard him say to his friend, he had to have paid a lot of money for her, which honestly I'm flattered by that. Like you thought I was a high class hooker, so I will always brag about that.
Mine is not a bragging moment. Mine was in LA when Ryan was doing security installation for a hotel and casino there. And we walk through the lobby and he goes into security because that's what he does the next Monday. And they're like, hey, you can't do that here. And he's like, what are you talking about? They're like, you can't bring girls here like that. And he's like, that's my wife. And they're like, oh, because yeah, they thought I was a hooker, but I wasn't even wearing anything like super slutty. It was just like a little black dress. So not high end.
But still a hooker.
I'm a Skid Row hooker.
I love that for you, you know? I mean, I said I was by the Flamingo. I didn't say that I was by the Bellagio, so it's fine.
Commerce, California. I'm a Skid Row hooker.
I love that for you, you know?
My high end friend.
But speaking of prostitution, Riso, the owner, had once said the club lay on ruins of a temple of pleasure, which makes you wonder, Maasverse wise, where is this? Where have we seen a place similar to Lunation? After looking at maps, the place that makes the most sense to me is the southern continent, where Antica and Throne of Glass. Similar climates, if you look at the maps, similar as well, and we know they had a lot of temples for gods that they worshiped. Now we have 9 months of the Maasverse together, so I'm not doing a full ass theory now, but that's what I currently am thinking.
We're giving just all these nuggets so we plant the seeds and we are going to build over the next 9 months. So don't worry, none of these will go untouched.
Mm-hmm.
Bryce is heading up to the VIP area to meet her client, Maximus Tertian. 200-year-old vampire, unwed and unmated, son of Lord Cedric, richest of the Pangeran vamps and the most monstrous, if rumor was to be believed, known for filling bathtubs with the blood of human maidens in his frosty mountain keep bathing in their youth. I wanted to share that just so we get a picture of what the vampires are like in this story.
They're not
Very
sparkling.
different from our last vamp story. No, which is really disappointing.
Mm-hmm.
So basically, painting the picture that this vamp was hella sketchy. He tried to flirt with Bryce, but ended up giving her the ick. They did some sneaky money exchanges for the sake of drama. He's a drama guy.
Mhm.
Bryce mentions at one point how smart and successful her friends are. Girl does not give herself enough credit. This section, Maximus peered at the ownership papers for the 5,000-year-old onyx bust of a long dead vampire lord. The deal had been a triumph for Bryce after weeks of sending out feelers to potential buyers, taunting them with the chance to buy a rare artifact before their rivals. She had her eye on Maximus, and during their endless phone calls and messages, she played him well, drawing upon his hatred for other vampire lords, his fragile ego, his unbearable arrogance. She played him like Tamlin plays his fiddle, not trying to offend all fiddle players everywhere again by that. But by the way Bryce reads personality, it's truly a skill.
It's 100% a skill.
Bryce was distracted for a moment by a drop party, but reeled it in. She tried to wrap it up with Max, but he was not done. He expected more from her based on him saying, "For what I paid your boss, I think some perks came with this deal," and then grabbed her wrist. She tried to play polite and have him remove his hand, but he was not having it. Full creep mode engaged. Shit got quiet in the club, and I cannot believe I wrote that and read it. And in walked Rune Dannon. Max ended up letting go since her cousin arrived. Like, we don't even say that.
In
I'm
the
too old
curb,
for that.
I was here for it.
Because that's what it was like.
Yeah.
I say it in my brain, but I don't need to say it out loud.
In the curb. Yeah, no, I'm glad that you read it. So thank you for that. So I'm going to go into the drop explanation. This is kind of long. I have shortened it, but it's important because I kind of didn't get it. So the donation of first light by each citizen was a key element of the drop ritual. The person making the drop was gobbled up during the transition into immortality and true power. The drop was the easy part, falling into one's power. But once the bottom was reached, one's mortal body expired, and then the clock began counting down. Mere minutes were allowed for the race back up to life before the brain shut down permanently from lack of oxygen. 6 minutes to start barreling down a psychic runway along the bottom of one's power. A single, desperate shot at launching skyward towards life. The alternative to successfully making that leap, tumbling into an endless black pit and awaiting death. That's dark. Which was why someone had to act as an anchor, a beacon, a lifeline, a bungee cord that would snap their companion back up to life once they'd left off the runway. To make the drop alone was to die. To reach the bottom of one's power, to have one's heart stop beating upon hitting the nadir, no one knew if the soul continued living down there, lost forever, or if it died along with the body left in life. Some claim those 6 minutes were called the search, that during that time you faced the very depths of your soul, but beyond that there was no hope for survival. It was only making this scent and reaching the threshold back to life, brimming with new power, that immortality was attained, the aging process slowed to a glacial drift, and the body rendered near indestructible as it was bathed in all the ensuing first light, so bright it could blind the naked eye. And that's the drop.
So basically, you cut your brain off from oxygen and you have an internal battle. You have to jump and make it back to the surface. You like end up in an ocean of your brain, a trench, if you will.
The scary place. My brain? Trench?
No, thank you.
Mm-hmm. No.
So fun. Do you think you'd survive the drop?
I don't know. I'm stubborn enough, probably. And I'm competitive enough.
I think we would.
I'm not, yeah, I feel like this one I could do. We've been fighting
Yeah.
against our own brain our
Would you,
lives. We'll be fine.
this is easy. You could take a little extra power while we're at it because we're so
Right.
good at fighting our own brain.
Yeah, it's fine.
It turns out Rune had told the White Raven owner to let him know when Bryce shows up. She was definitely not impressed by this, but Rune was there to tell her the Autumn King wants you to lie low. The summit meeting is in just over a month, and he wants any loose cannons tied down, aka be on your best behavior and don't embarrass him. Apparently, the Autumn King hasn't been this riled up in 2 years since the horn went missing. Rune offered to walk Bryce home, but she said no. He followed her home anyway. She made sure that she turned on the lights so he knew that she was home and he could leave her alone.
So, and
That was really nice of Rune.
I know. Good
Sorry.
job. Rune. He cares about his sister, not cousin. He always shows that he cares. So,
Sister cousin.
sister cousin. A summit explanation. They occurred every 10 years, a gathering of Albara's ruling power to debate whatever issues or policies the Asteri ordered them to deal with. Each territory in the Republic held its own summit meeting on a rotating schedule so that one occurred in the world each year.
It's like their Olympics for leaders.
Mm-hmm.
We learned that Bryce quit drinking and has a nice ass apartment thanks to Danica. She said to Rune, then it's a good thing I have my alcohol sweater on, isn't it? A lie. She hadn't touched a drink in nearly 2 years. Rune didn't know that though, nor did anyone else. You have to be a super strong individual to just let everyone think the worst of you and like keep those kind of wins to yourself. So props to Bryce for that.
I actually really like Bryce this time around. I really like her.
Same. Like I love her. Like I said, I told you, inject this story into my veins. I'm
You
here
did.
for it. I'm here for everything. We know Sarah Janet builds big worlds, and this book is so overwhelming with so many details. I love it. Like our minds will never stop running through all of these, and I'm so excited to just dive deeper.
That's what she said. But I agree.
Thanks for hanging out with us as we begin our journey through Crescent City, though definitely not journeying on a scooter with Bryce. I personally need wings or something on 4 wheels. We have new episodes every Wednesday. Join us next week as we talk about chapters 8 through 14. Nope. Join us next week as we talk about chapters 9 through 14.
And have you joined our community of High Ladies? It's our virtual book club where we are currently binging the series that started it all for us, A Court of Thorns and Roses by Sarah Janet Maas. Expect extra videos, discussion questions, and the best time. It's the closest you can get to being in Valaris without a surreal drop in the tea. And don't forget, follow us on social media for all our latest updates, theories, and more book chat. Make sure you also give us a review wherever you listen. All links are in our info. You giggle and gal pals, and we'll see you next week.